Patrick, I just want to welcome you to the show and give you the floor. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you. Just heard the tail end of Gavin was sort of embarrassingly nice statements he's made. So thank you, Gavin, for that. But look, I am, in all seriousness, this idea of MAHA, I'm so glad to be now participating in it because I believe, as you may have said at the opening, the core essence of MAHA to make America healthy again is actually your immune system. And that's what I've been pushing now for over 30 years. Tony, I just shared with you a paper, 2 papers, and I think they're astounding for us to understand. One from JAMA that shows that they've done a review of the U.S. general population, that if you have a low lymphocyte count, meaning low NK cells, low T cells, meaning the collapse of your immune system as you age, you have a significant increase in mortality of the U.S. general population, whether you have cancer, whether you're basically part of aging. I think that is the concept we need to grab beyond the cancer and infection, which I'll talk about. The next paper, which I've just shared with you, which was remarkable, from the London School of Business, and I think Dr. Oz will speak a little bit to this. 1 year of increasing aging in terms of longevity by protecting your immune system is worth $38 trillion to the United States. 10 years is $367 trillion. That alone could change not only everything with regard to our healthcare system, but the entire debt structure of the country. So even from economic perspective, nothing else, when clearly I come from the health perspective, 367 trillion in 10 years is what's at stake, the opportunity to really address protecting the immune system. So let's talk about that. Why and what have we done to protect that immune system? Well, it turns out that the secret to this whole key was unraveled in 2008 by the National Cancer Institute, who recognized and discovered that if we activate the molecule called IL-15, called a cytokine in your body, and that cytokine would stimulate your natural killer cells in T cells, and the natural killer cells are there to protect your body from infection, aging, cancer. And they spent the last 10, 20 years trying to figure it out. How do we get this IL-15 as a therapeutic? And unfortunately couldn't do it until we figured that out. We had to modify the IL-15 so it binds to this IL-15 receptor of your NK cell and T cell. We had to actually make it sure it's an injection that can go there and last for 7 to 14 days and activate that. That's called Anktiva. We struggled very much. I openly say that during the Biden administration for 4 years. 700,000 pages of review, and then finally they gave us the approval for a tiny little piece of bladder cancer. But it's very clear that with all the trials that we've done, including randomized trials, lung cancer, triple-negative breast cancer, Senator Reid's pancreatic cancer, head and neck cancer, triple-negative breast cancer, we were seeing complete responses, which means it's universal. It's a universal issue that protecting your immune system and addressing that is a new paradigm, not only for longevity, increasing aging. As I said, 1 year is $38 trillion. So in frustration, I moved my attention to Saudi Arabia, and very quickly, literally quickly, they approved us for lung cancer, and I'm now moving to meet with them again, where an entire scientific community of all of Saudi Arabia are coming together, and in which we're going to expand this to all other tumor types. I just had a call this morning with the United Arab Emirates who want this as well. This should be something that Americans should be able to have access to. We are now 13,000 requests and growing. So one of the things that I'm very concerned of, it should not be who you know and the privilege that can have access to this. It should be anybody and everybody. So my plea is I'm participating in MAHA. I think the core platform of MAHA, its essence, should be protecting the immune system. We now, for the first time in medical history, have unveiled the molecule that the National Cancer Institute said is the number one molecule out of 240 they tested, number one ranked molecule that could cure cancer. So all of this is now at our fingertips with this administration, not only with the savings that we could do, but the change in paradigm. I'm seeing patients daily. I just came from the clinic now, who are ravaged by chemo. I'm seeing patients who are in the third line, fourth line, fifth line, sixth line. Why are we doing that? I should be seeing patients, or we should in the country, who have just diagnosed with cancer. If we do that and use the tumor that's in the body as the vaccine and activate the natural killer cells and T cells, use the power of the body, we can actually change the paradigm. So guess what we've done? Glioblastoma, I was this weekend in Pasadena at a glioblastoma conference. Patients with recurrent brain tumors, we're getting near complete responses. These patients have their lymphocytes completely ravaged by the standard of care of radiation and chemotherapy. So I'm so pleased to now finally participate in your program here, Tony. And as you know, what we're going to be doing is putting a book together of all these literally decades of stories of patients who are still alive, having received this BioShield, and putting their videos together in this little booklet to tell the story that this is not a sort of fluky phenomenon. This is a fundamental, basic immunology of your body. This is how your body works. Dr. Oz shared with me his father's book that talks about lymphatics. And I'm so glad that I preceded his call, because I really believe that the whole system of understanding immunology, understanding protecting your immune system, changing the paradigm of care, doesn't mean we won't use chemotherapy. As Gavin talked about, I invented Abraxane. But Abraxane I invented because Taxol, I don't know if the women of your audience understand, Taxol is dissolved in castor oil. Think about that. We've been injecting castor oil into your veins, whereas I took albumin, a human protein, created a nanoparticle, so it could drive to the tumor and then activate your macrophages. So this is where this excitement is with me. I've just made the announcement of our first AI-driven robotic system that could take an apheresis from any one of us and generate billions and billions of natural killer cells and maybe CAR T cells, and where no human being touches it. What that means, I can now scale, democratize, and shorten, and actually reduce cost. If we can do all of this, we now have an ability to create what I call the World Bank of Natural Killer Cells. And this is where we're going. But I'm just struggling, I must say openly, to convince the current FDA that what has been holding back, not just for sepsis, but also for all tumor types. We've done the single-arm trials, get that. We're randomizing trials as we speak. Please help me help the American public have access to this.
Thanks so much, Patrick. And that's, it's such an important point that strengthening the immune system is such an important part of this whole problem. And that, like you said, using the power of our bodies has to be the first line of defense. And that science then builds on that. And we've got this generation where we've destroyed our immune systems. And so we have to rebuild them and use technologies like yours to strengthen them to get that power back. So thanks so much. And I believe Dr. Oz is ready and coming on next.